graders, I am ready for the last math lesson in Module 12. Not only Module 12, but the whole math book. You guys got a new math book, and so this is the last one for this book, so that is so exciting. So grab your workbook and a pencil and follow along with me. I'm going to go through the whole lesson. We are on page 343, Lesson 5. So our I can statement says, I can use a number line to find the end time or the start time when I know two amounts of elapsed time. So this is kind of like lesson 4, where we determined the start time or end time when we knew the elapsed time. And remember, elapsed time is the time that has gone by. So now we're taking it a step further and we're saying, okay, now we're having multiple elapsed times. So how do we figure that out? And we'll use the number line for it. So I'm super excited. All right, number 1, it says the 3rd grade class will visit a museum that opens at 10 o'clock a.m. It takes 45 minutes to travel from the school to the museum. The students need 12 minutes to get on the bus. At what time should the students start boarding the bus to be sure they arrive at the museum when it opens? So this is a story problem. The first question I asked myself, what do I need to find? I need to find what time should the students start boarding the bus to be sure that they arrive at the museum when it opens. So that's kind of a lot, right? A lot that we're asking. So let's break it down. What time should students start boarding the bus to make sure they arrive at the museum when it opens? Okay, so we're going to find the start time. The information that I'm going to use is that the museum opens at 10 a.m. It takes 45 minutes to travel from the school to the museum, and the students need 12 minutes to get on the bus. All right, so part A says use a number line. Find 10 a.m., then count back blank minutes to find the time that the bus needs to leave the school. So I know that it takes 45 minutes to travel from the school to the museum, and that it takes 12 minutes to get on the bus. So my total travel time, including the time it takes to get on the bus, is going to be the 45 minutes plus the 12 minutes. So what is 45 plus 12? That is 57. So count back 57 minutes to find the time that the bus needs to leave the school. Think, you can break apart the minutes into shorter amounts of time. All right, so I have my number line. Here I am at 10 o'clock a.m. This is when the museum opens. So I am going to do a big jump. And this is going to be a 45-minute jump. Now, what if I didn't want to do that big of a jump? What if I didn't know where I would land if I did that big of a jump? Well, 45 is one of my favorite numbers when it comes to time, because that is 3/4 of an hour. And so I'm just going to break this 45 into 3 15-minute jumps, because I know that 15 times 3 equals 45. So if I am at 10 a.m., 15 minutes before 10 a.m., okay, that's kind of easier to wrap my brain around, would be 9:45. Then 15 minutes before 9:45 is 9:30. 15 minutes before 9:30 is 9:15. So 45 minutes before 10 is 9:15. Now that doesn't account for the time that I need for the students to get on the bus. So I have to do another jump to account for those 12 minutes. Now, luckily, I can just do 9:15. I can do 15 minutes minus 12, and that would put me at 9:03. All right, so part B says count back blank minutes to find the time the students need to board the bus. So, I got a little bit mixed up right here. So I added to 57, but we didn't need to. Count back 45 minutes to find the time that the bus needs to leave the school. So the bus leaves 45 minutes before, and then we have 12 minutes to find the time students need to board the bus. So it breaks it up right there for us. So we did the math on our number line. At what time should the students start boarding the bus? The students should start boarding the bus at 9:03 a.m. Remember your units, a.m. or p.m. All right, the turn and talk says, how can you use the start time and jump forward to check the reasonableness of your answer? So how does this make sense? Well, I could start at 9:03 and think, okay, imagine myself in this story. I'm getting on a bus. The bus is taking me to the museum. I want to be there right when it opens. So if I board the bus at 9:03 and it takes me 12 minutes, we will leave. The bus will start driving at 9:15 because 9:03 plus 12 minutes is 9:15, and then 45 minutes to drive would take me right to 10 a.m. So we counted backwards to find the start time, and then we counted forwards to double check our work. Awesome. Number 2 on page 344. Miley wants to see the dinosaur animation show. It takes 10 minutes to get from the entrance of the museum to the show. There is a wait time of 15 minutes at the entrance to the show. The show lasts 20 minutes. If Miley arrives at the museum at 4:00 p.m., what time does Miley finish watching the show? So again, the first question I ask myself is, what do I need to find? And I need to find what time does Miley finish watching the show. The information that I'm going to use is that Miley arrives at 4:00 p.m., so that's my starting time. Maybe I draw an arrow and I label it start. The show lasts 20 minutes, so I'm going to circle 20 minutes. There's a wait time of 15 minutes, and it takes 10 minutes to get there, to get to the show from the entrance. Okay, a lot going on. Part A says, write an equation to find the total number of minutes from the time Miley gets to the museum to the time she finishes watching the show. So, it takes her, if we're starting at 4:00, that's when she arrived at the museum. She walked 10 minutes to get to the show, plus 15 minutes of waiting, plus 20 minutes of the actual show, and that gets me my total time. So 10 plus 15 is 25, 25 plus 20 is 45 minutes. So what time will that be? Well, you could probably guess because it starts at 4:00, but let's do the number line just for practice. Part B says, count forward on the number line the total number of minutes from the time Miley arrives at the museum. So 4:00 p.m., she walks 10 minutes to the show. So that's going to bring us to 4:10 p.m. Okay, 4:00, 10 minutes brought us to 4:10. 15 minutes of waiting in line brings us, 4:10 plus 20 minutes, plus 15 minutes is going to be 4:25. and then 20 minutes for the show. See how I'm labeling my jumps? 20 minutes for the show is going to bring me from 4:25 to 4:45. Now that makes sense because 4 o'clock plus our 45 minutes bring us to 4:45. So Miley will finish watching the show at 4:45 p.m. Turn and talk. Do you need to add the times in the same order that they were given in the problem? Explain. This is a really good question. Do you need to add the times in the same order they were given in the problem? Now, we know because of the commutative property of addition that we can add any add-ins in any order and get the same sum, the same answer. So technically, if we did 15 minutes plus 10 minutes plus 20 in a different order, we would still get 4:45. We would still get 45 minutes. So technically, you don't have to add them in the same order. Now, for your sense of clarity and to make sense of the time, I would try to stay in order just because you want to go by like the sequence of events. So like starting at the museum, entrance, walking to the show, waiting in line, then going to the show and watching the show. It just makes more sense that way. If you're putting it into a story problem like that, it makes sense to go by the sequence of events. But we know mathematically that it doesn't really matter. All right, check understanding. A concert starts at 7 o'clock p.m. The chorus performs for 30 minutes. There is a 15-minute break, and then the band performs for 30 minutes. Use the number line to find the time the concert ends. Okay, so what do I need to find? I need to find the time the concert ends. All right, the information that I'm going to use is that it starts at 7 o'clock. The chorus performs for 30 minutes. There's a 15-minute break, and then the band performs for 30 minutes. So I already have my starting time of 7 o'clock. So my first jump is going to be a 30-minute jump. That's for the choir. So what time will it be in 30 minutes? If I start at 7 o'clock, the next time will be 7:30. Now if there's a 15-minute break, what time will it be? 7:45. Because 7:30 plus 15 minutes is 7:45. Now there's another 30 minutes for when the band performs. So what time will it be from 7:45 after 30 minutes? Now 30, I know, is another great time number. 15, 30, 45, all fourths of an hour. So I know that since I'm at 45 and I have 30 minutes, I'm gonna land on another quarter of an hour. So let me show you with a clock. So I'm gonna go to 7:45. Okay, so here I am. This is 3/4 of an hour. I know that 30 minutes is half an hour. So see how I'm just picturing an invisible line across the entire clock? Okay, that's half of the full circle, the full hour. So I will just go whoop, one big jump. So half an hour from 45, you get to the hour, and then you get to the minute 15. So that is something, again, when you're familiar with time and a clock, you'll know, oh, that's easy peasy. 7:40, ooh, that doesn't even show 7:45. 7:45 plus half an hour. Okay, just a whole half jump. So that's gonna bring me to 8:15. Now, could I have broken up 30 into 15 plus 15 for sure. So I could be at 7:45 and I could just do 15 minutes and bring me to 8 o'clock, another 15 minutes, and that's 8:15. So I could do that, I would get the same answer. So what time does the concert end? 8:15 p.m. All right, next page. On your own. Number 2. Ooh, looks tricky already. Start at 4:34 p.m. 4 minutes to bicycle to the park. To bike to the park. That's how I would say it. To bicycle to the park. That's funny. 15 minutes playing at the park. 3 minutes to bicycle home. To bike home. All right. Start at 4:34 p.m. Okay. So right off the bat, I'm thinking these are icky numbers. So what I'm going to do is make it easier for myself. Okay? So let's try it just like in order, and then we'll go through and see how we can make it easier for ourselves. So let's say 4 minutes to bike to the park. That's going to bring me, 4:34 plus 4 minutes. I'm going to write on the side 4:38. Then 15 minutes playing at the park. Now, this is the one that's like tricky. So I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to break up 15 to 2 plus 13. And the reason I'm doing that is because I'm at 38. And so I want to get to the next 10 to make it easier to count. And so I'm going to do 2 minutes. It's going to bring me to 4:40. And then 4:40 plus 13 minutes is 4:53. Okay, so I'm just adding. And then 3 minutes to bike home. 4:53 plus 3 minutes is 4:56. So then I end at 4:56 p.m. Okay, so I'm going to leave it like that. As I was going through it, I don't want to confuse you further, and so we're just going to do it this way where we're adding the minutes every time, and we can be flexible. Like when it came to 4:38 plus 15 minutes, I just broke apart the 15 minutes. So I'm not really messing with the order of the times. I'm not really messing with any like regrouping or things like that. I'm just breaking apart the numbers to make it easier to add in my head. And then as you're, again, like I said, as you become more and more familiar with time, you can kind of do your own adjustments as you do mental math. All right, number 3, start at blank. Okay, we don't know where we're starting, so we're going the other way. So we have to change how we're thinking. We're going backwards in time. We end at 10 o'clock a.m. Okay, so 12 minutes. So see how I'm starting at this point, and then I'm going that way. Okay, I end at 10 o'clock a.m. Now, something that I could do, and I could have done on number 2, was add up all of those times and then just add it to 34. So like 4 plus 15 plus 3 is 22. So then I would just do 4:34 plus 22 minutes. That would bring me at 4:56. So with this one, I might want to do the same thing, just because right off the bat I'm seeing this 12 and 18, and that's going to bring me to a multiple of 10. And I like adding and subtracting with multiples of 10. So I'm going to do that now. 12 plus 18 is going to bring me to 40. Wait, no. 30. Okay, 12 plus 18, 30. Okay, so that's way easier to think about. If I ended at 10 o'clock a.m., 30 minutes before 10 o'clock a.m. was 9:30, and then 24 minutes to mow the lawn. Well, what's 30 minus 24? That's going to bring me to 9:06. So I started at 9:06, It took me 24 minutes to mow the lawn. 24 plus 9:06 is 9:30. 18 minutes to weed the garden. 9:30 plus 18 is 9:48. 12 minutes to trim the hedges. So 9:48 plus 12 is 10 o'clock a.m. Okay? Whew, I know that's a lot. All right, number 4. Greg is 32 years old. He has a resting heart rate of 65 beats per minute. Greg measures his heart rate after jogging. He stops jogging at 8:46 a.m. At first, Greg's heart rate is 155 beats per minute. The table shows his heart rate after each different amount of time passes. At what time after Greg stops jogging is his heart rate at 78 beats per minute? Okay, so here we have this table. So after 1 minute, it's 100 beats per minute. After 2 minutes, it's 89. After 4 minutes, it's 84 beats per minute. And after 6 minutes, it's 78 beats per minute. Okay, so this looks like a lot of information. In fact, it looks quite like, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to do so much math. But really, all I have to look is my graph and see, okay, 78 beats per minute, time elapsed was 6 minutes. So at what time after Greg stops jogging is his heart rate 78 beats per minute? Well, if he stops jogging at 8:46 a.m., that's where he stops, then I'm going to add 6 minutes to this end time. So what's 6 minutes added to 8:46? It's going to be 8:52. Because 46 plus 4 will bring me to 8:50, and then 2 more will bring me to 52. Okay? So that looks crazy, but see how simple it was. And I need to remember my units, AM. All right, number 5. Al wants pizza for lunch. It takes 15 minutes to make the pizza, 18 minutes for it to cook, and 3 minutes for it to cool. What time should Al make the pizza if he wants to eat it at 11:55 a.m.? Explain. So I am going to count backwards because I have my end time. He wants to eat it at 11:55 a.m., so I have to be done by that point. So I'm going to count backwards. If it takes 3 minutes to cool, well, what's 11:55 minus 3 minutes? That's going to bring me to, if I'm on a number line, I'll just use this line as a number line. Start at 11:55 over on the right. That's my end time. A jump of 3 minutes will bring me to 11:52. And then a jump of 18 minutes for it to cook. Okay, and then I'm gonna, again, break apart 18 into 2 and 16 because I have a 2 right here, so I wanna get that to a group of 10. Or I would do, I'm actually gonna, since I'm subtracting time, I'm gonna do a 10. I'm gonna break this up into 10 plus 8 and say 11:52 minus 10 is 11:42 minus 8 would be 11:34. It's so tricky. You really have to think about the minutes on the hour, like on a clock like this, right? So if this was 11:52, oops, I didn't know that was gonna happen. 11:52 right here. You really have to, like, if you were to count by ones, you would get it, but you really have to, you know, chunk it, make it work for you. So 52 minus 10 minutes, 42 minus 8, 2, and then 6, 34. gosh, that's a lot of managing numbers in your head. And then 15 minutes to make the pizza. So that's going to be a 15-minute jump. Okay, so 11:34 minus 15 minutes. Juno, look out, move. He doesn't know what to do. He just... Okay, so 11:34 minus 15 minutes. I'm going to do 11:34 minus 10 will be 11:24. And then 11:24 minus 5 will be 11:19. So, Al should start making his pizza at 11:19. So he's done by 11:55. And you would explain it by just writing all your jumps. Now, is there another way we could have solved this? Sure. We could have done 3 plus 15 plus 18 equals 36, and done 11:55 minus 36, and we would have gotten to 11:19. So again, I kept it in order though. 3, 15. Oh no, I didn't. Oh no. 3, 18, 15. But we know commutative property of addition. Still the same sum. All right. Last page. Number 6. Chorus practice starts with 10 minutes of warm-ups. Then the singers practice a song for 40 minutes. The clock shows the end time of practice for the song. At what time does the chorus practice start? Describe how you found the time. All right, so over here is my clock. So it ends at 2:30. So over here on my number line, on the end, I'm going to write 2:30. So then I would do a big jump, and that is going to be a 40-minute jump. Okay, now this is for the practice or the time that they spend practicing. Could I break this apart and do a 30-minute jump and then a 10-minute jump? Yeah, I absolutely could do that. And that might make it easier because I'm at 2:30. So if I do 2:30 minus half an hour, I'd be at 2 o'clock. And then I could go 10 minutes before 2 o'clock, and that would be 1:50. Okay, so if you want to think about it like that, you totally can. And then 10 minutes of warm-ups. So this was a 10-minute jump. So what's 10 minutes before 1:50? 1:40. So what time does choir practice start? It starts at 1:40 p.m. I'm assuming it's p.m. It doesn't actually say p.m. over there, but I'm assuming it's p.m. because 1:40 a.m. That's after midnight, right after midnight. You're in bed, you're sleeping. You are not going to chorus practice. All right, number 7. The Library of Congress in Washington, D.C. is the largest library in the world. Malachi arrives at the library at 11 o'clock a.m. He spends 17 minutes at an exhibit of Thomas Jefferson books. Then he spends 24 minutes at an exploration of America's exhibit and 19 minutes at a current exhibit before a guided tour of the library. At what time does Malachi's guided tour begin? Okay, so he arrives at the library at 11 a.m. So I want to know, what time does the guided tour begin? My start time is 11 a.m. He spends 17 minutes at an exhibit of Thomas Jefferson's books, 24 minutes at Exploration of Americas, and 19 minutes at the one he's at right now. Okay? So what I'm going to do for a problem like this, I would probably use the clock since it's giving me a picture, and I would do these minutes. So if I started at 17, I'm thinking in my head, okay, 17 is really close to 15. So I'm gonna do my 15-minute jump and then 2 more minutes. 1, 2. Okay, then I'm gonna do a 24-minute jump and I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3, and then I'm gonna count by 20, or I'm gonna count to 20. 5, 10, 15, 20. And then I have to do 1 more jump. Because I broke up 24 and I did 3, 20, and 1. And the reason I did that is because I landed on 17. And so from 17 to the next multiple of 5 is 3 minutes. So that's why I did 3 minutes and then 20 and then 1. Oh, I know, it's so crazy. Okay. And then 19 minutes at a current exhibit before a guided tour. So again, I'm going to break up 19 and I'm going to break it up into 15 and 4. And that works perfectly because I am 4 minutes away from the next group of 5, the next multiple of 5. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. And I landed at 11:45 plus 15 minutes. That is 1 hour. So that tour begins at 12 o'clock p.m., 12 o'clock noon. Okay, that was a lot. So, in other words, I just used my clock and I just counted each chunk of time, each elapsed time, and I manipulated the numbers to work for me, right? To work for me in a way that makes sense. If you wanted to, you could go back in and you could do like longhand addition, 17 plus 24 plus 19, and just add it up on the side and then say, okay, that's my total time that Malachi spent at the museum before the tour starts. So then you could just, go from there. That might be a little bit simpler. So 7 plus 4 plus 9 is, 4 plus 9 is 13. 13 plus 7 is 10. So I make my group of 10 on top. 110, 110, 2, and 1 brings me to 5. Okay, it's so good that I did this because I just realized that we made a mistake. And I know what it is. Wait, no, I don't. Let's see. 5, 10, 15, 20. Oh no, what happened? Oh no, we're good. Okay, so, because 9 plus 4 is 13. 13 plus 7 is 20, not 10. So it's just 2 up here. Oh, phew. I'm so happy we could learn from that mistake. So 2 10s plus 2 is 4. 1 is 6. Phew. That was a full hour. Okay, so we did everything perfect. Everything is fine. All right, number 8, last one. Sammy arrives at school at 8:02 a.m. It takes her 6 minutes to get to class. She has reading for 45 minutes and then science for 38 minutes. Can you add the times in any order to tell what time science ends? Explain. Could you do this? Sure, you could add all those minutes in any order. Just like we did over here, we added up the time. We still got 60 minutes, which was our total elapsed time. So let's do that. 6 minutes plus 38 plus 45. And then I would add that to 8:02 a.m. So I'm going to look at this and I'm going to do, oh, you know what? This is going to be really difficult because if you just do 38 plus 45, that's going to get you over 60. So you're going to get an answer that looks like 82, which you could still do. Okay, so let's do it. So 6 plus 38 is 42, plus 45 is 87 minutes. Now, you cannot say 8:02 plus 87 minutes equals 8:89. That doesn't exist. And that's why I like took a pause and I was like, oh no. Because I was worried about this 87 minutes. Now, we can take this 87 minutes and we just have to regroup it. So remember how I said in a couple lessons ago how you have to be really careful when you just add times like that because you have to regroup. So it's kind of like making a 10 and adding the 10 to the tens place. With time, if you make an hour, you have to put it in that hour place. So with 87 minutes, how many hours are in 87 minutes? Well, it's 1 hour. And if 1 hour is 60 minutes, you would have 27 minutes left over because 87 minus 60 is 27. This is a lot. So then I could add my time. I could say, okay, 8:02 plus an hour is 9:02, and 9:02 plus 27 minutes is 9:29. Okay, that was a big math problem. But we did it. You can, it says, can you add times in any order to tell what time science ends? Explain. So if you were to write it and explain what just happened, you could say, yeah, we can totally add the minutes. We just have to remember if we make an hour or not. We have to remember that 1 hour is 60 minutes. So if my total minutes is over 60 minutes, then I just made an hour and I need to account for that. Okay, so yes, we added these in any order and we got 87 minutes, but we're not done there. We have to have that background knowledge of there's an hour and 27 minutes there. Okay, it's not just 87 minutes. Okay, that was a big one. That was kind of like a big one to end on. But I think it's great. If you have any questions, please let me know. If you need extra help on this, you can log into iExcel and go through and find the time pages and practice elapsed time. But I think you guys are doing great. Let me know how it goes. Let me know if you have any problems with it. Hang in there. You're amazing. And I'll talk to you later. Love your guts.